The whole point of this project is the Pinebook Pro with Tobu on SPI and Manjaro KD plasma stock. When you put it to sleep or suspend, it won't wake up. You have to hold the power button like 10-20 seconds, completely restart it, and that's awful for like picking up where you left off, you know. This is a mechanical fix for that, where it just constantly charges the laptop, but it honors the ideal range of 20 to 80%, although what it does is try to keep it at 80%. How it works is there's a ESP01 on there, a relay. You know, it's arguable, do you need that? You could just use a transistor or something, but there's different, or MOSFET, different things you got to consider there. I'm not an electrical engineer, so I'm just a tinkerer. Anyway, yeah, so this was like simple to me because I've worked with Arduino stuff before. You know, like built robots. Yeah, so there's a ESP01 on there. Wrote some code. It's a basic server. It says on off. You hit it with a post request, and then the Pinebook Pro, it has a Python script that's running with a cron job. It's checking the capacity of the battery. It's high or low. You know, hits this up to turn the relay on and off to charge. And I did have it go through with the shared, and that's questionable if that does anything bad, because oh, and the way this thing is wired is when the red light here is on, that's the relay light. That means it's not allowing power because of the normally closed output I'm using. So it's turning, it's shutting the charging off. Where was I going with that? Man, I forgot, I just spaced out. What was I saying? Relay. Oh yeah. 300 milliamps, something like that, is what the ESP01 is pulling at worst. And then the relay comes on because that adds even more power that it subtracts from the 3 amps potential from the wall. So it's better if it gives most of the power to charge by not having the relay on in the relay off position. So yeah, that's how it works. And I don't, you know, recommend building this unless you verify that it's good. For me, well, I currently like don't have a job, but I was like remote. So this thing's like, I'll always be watching this thing, and I'm testing it for days before I trust it. But yeah, but it's just a cool thing, I guess, because of different technologies it uses, even though it's very simple. This is the Pine 64 coffin box. It's funny. I unfortunately lost significant wire length. I was trying to strip this with these, and I just kept cutting into the inner red and black wires. So I found it's better to just slice into it and then peel the wire off, unless you have something that actually can strip these without touching the inner ones. Okay, here it is all soldered up, wired together. Sorry all the crap everywhere, but I put some tape on the bottom because of the exposed pins. Doesn't really matter, this is insulated. The power brick's on the left, so it's coming in that way. I tapped some of the power to charge, or not charge, to power the ESP01, which is the HTTP server and switch. This is a little regulator to drop the 5 volts down to 3.3. Then it has the trigger going in the middle of the relay here. I am taking some of that 3 volts to power this side, but the charging power goes around it, and then over here you loop one of the wires through. We just have the positive. So this is the part that, you know, switches on and off based on the trigger, high trigger. Okay, let me just go over this real quick. Sure that's kind of readable. So this code, it's pretty basic. There's a function to connect to Wi-Fi. Credentials are imported as a library. What is that called? The H. And then I looked up this web server guide for ESP01. So handle posts, I'm just testing right now. I need to see that it works. So setup sets the baud rate for serial. Pin mode set to low. When you first plug it in, the relay does get triggered by the ESP turning on. I'm hoping this, it doesn't like matter once it's going, it's stable, but anyway, then there's the server on route handle to post that calls up here. That's where you figure out what to do based on the payload. And connect to Wi-Fi, it starts that loop till it's connected. And then there's just an extra function, clear serial. But the main looper is here. And then I've already uploaded this code, and the ESP01's right there. That's a serial programmer. And then over here I did a ARP scan to find it. So there's the IP. When you're programming it, you gotta like disconnect it and put it back in to actually have it run. So it's connected to the network. Okay, this unfortunately took me way too long to figure out, but you use XW form URL encoded, set the parameter. So I say start, the ESP's on. Also, I guess you can't use the blue LED for like blinking it and get serial out because the TX pin is the same. So I turned that code off, and now when you hit send, there's the on, say stop. This is all basic stuff. I just, you know, putting it together. Hit send, ears off. So yeah, from there you just actually trigger the charging pin, which is GPIO2, and then that'll turn the charger on and off. So the Pinebook has already died. This hasn't been plugged in since this morning, but and it's the everything's running. It's just the screen was off. So I got it plugged in. Oh, there's what I mean. Like when you first plug it in, the relay clicks. Hear it, but it's online. Focus on here. Set it to start charging. Hit send. You should see the red LED over here in a click. Red LED. It's hard to see with the light on. There. I think this is better already. It's still like low, but 3.91, 3.92. Before it was like 3.8. It's climbing up faster. It's on the other side now. This is pretty cool. It's over there. I had to reprint this because it was way too long. I left like an entire inch for wire. I was like, that's a waste. Because there's like a 1 inch tall wall that gets printed. So I had to reprint that, and then I'll have to print the top tomorrow because it takes 5 hours. But here's the Python bit. It'll run on a CRON tab. But you run it manually, you see it turn the thing off. So it's on now, and it's sorry, I'm gonna stop talking so you can hear it. Here's on. This is all basic, but it's still cool. So yeah, relay. Okay, first blind test. What? Did not work. Okay, here we go. 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2. Hey. So the whole reason I separated the power supplies is to drop the temperature. You can see it's still hot. 104. It was like 106 before, when it was just a single power source to the relay. The other thing to check is the charger itself. You can see it's at 120. $122, yeah, it's just as bad. So that power right there is feeding the ESP and the relay. So unfortunately this did not work. Battery still got to 100%. One of the problems is the Wi-Fi turned off eventually. So there's like no route to host. Bunch of those problems. Tried to have a fix for that, but let's see. Yeah, no route to host. The other problem is the logic is not working regarding is 100 less than or equal to 80. It's not. Turn the charger off, but it says it's true. I don't understand that. Okay, I did figure it out. The cat command, I was using a OS syscall and it wasn't storing it in the variable, so I used the sub process, looked it up on Stack Overflow. So now the comparison is correct.